Hey there, Dragos here. So today I want to talk with you about meditation and death. And I'm going to start with death. So this concept, it's more or less like a taboo in our society. Like not a lot of people talk about it. And when people bring up this subject, they get uncomfortable, they get a bit fearful, and almost you can see it in their eyes that they don't like this subject. However, for me, it seems a bit crazy that we don't talk more about this subject, since like everybody will experience it sooner or later. I mean, like everybody at one point will leave their body. So why not talk about it now instead of just wondering what will happen in 40, 50 years when all of it will quote unquote end. So most people are more or less afraid of this topic of death because it's related to another fear, and that is the fear of the unknown. And this is the primary fear that people experience. So basically, fear of death, it's fear of the unknown. And when when we don't know something, we are scared of it. We push it away, and we don't want to have anything to do with it. However, I believe that it's super important for us to have knowledge about death, and also to have some experience with it. And I'm gonna go in more detail about the experience a bit later on. Just because there is this famous quote: "You need to die before you die in order to truly live." So what does this mean? Is that we most of the time we spend our life in fear, and it's all of these fears that we have. The primary reason that we have them, it's fear of death. So we don't want to change our job because we have a fear that we may not succeed, and if we don't succeed, we don't have money, and at the end we may die, or something bad may happen. The same as fear of rejection, that if you get rejected, you have the sensation, or the sensation that you will die. Like, yes, this was valid uh, many years ago when we were living in tribes, because if you were rejected by the tribe, then you would have minimum chances of surviving on your own. So it makes sense that we have that ancient program buried within our subconscious. However, now we live in a completely different world. So I believe that if our world got an upgrade, we deserve one also. And I believe that this upgrade starts with our consciousness, and um, it also starts with our biggest fear, which is the fear of death and the fear of the unknown. And let's explore it more. So fear of the unknown, or fear of death, is more or less fear of losing something. You're afraid of, okay, so if this happens, what we don't know what's going to happen, or where are we gonna go, what's gonna happen with us. And basically, this is because this major fear, it's because we live in the world of the five senses. So we live in a very limited bubble of reality. So where we only experience reality through our five senses. So only reality, it's only what we can see, what we can hear, taste, touch, or smell. However, that is just a very limited experience of reality, because as we know, reality, it's much more complex and much more vast than what we can experience with our five senses. So it's normal that if you have lived your entire life in this bubble, or in this bubble reality where the only thing that you have experienced is your five senses, then of course when death comes, or when this experience comes, it will take you outside of this little bubble, and it will literally throw you into the bigger bubble of reality. So you'll no longer have access to your little bubble. And and yes, so because we live in this little bubble, and we don't have any experience of anything outside of these five senses, of course, when something scary happens or something unfamiliar, we get scared or we get frightened. And this is where meditation comes in. This is where the practice of meditation can really help you, because to let you know, I have died many times in meditation, and I just don't want to tell you this to scare you. It's just that in meditation, many times I have lost the identity of myself. I have lost the sense of my body. I have lost the sense of time. I have lost all of these five senses. So basically, I have lost all of reality when I was in that deep meditative state. So in one way or another, you could say that I have experienced death, right? Yes, this is like a mild experience of that. And what I was surprised when I got this experience is that even if I didn't have my body, my identity, my senses, or anything else, there was still a presence there, or an observant, was like something, a consciousness that was observing everything else. And this type of consciousness was not attached to anything. Like, it was not attached to a personality, it was not attached to a body or to a model of reality. It was not attached to anything. And it was just pure observation. And going through a lot of experience like this, also having lucid dreams, where the dreams were so real and so palpable that I was like, okay, so what's the difference between this dream and basic reality that we are experiencing? And basically, there is none. It's all in our head. And this is why meditation is such an important tool of exploration, because you can explore more or less death without actually dying, or without being in a real danger. It's just going in such a deep state where you lose all of your senses and all of your identity, all of this, your identification of your body, of your personality, and many more. So basically, you experience what is it when you lose everything, when everything that you thought that was real, and everything that you know, you lost it. And you can experience this in meditation. And once you do this, this fear of the unknown, or this fear of death, gradually decreases till the point where you can truly live your life without being really afraid of dying, because you already know that death is just an illusion. Death is basically a change of focus. You're no longer in this vehicle, in this body. Your awareness, or your pointer of awareness, changes to another place or another dimension. And when you literally conquer this fear, then you are truly living life, because you'll no longer be afraid of doing what you want, of being who you truly want to be. We know a lot of people have this issue that they are living somebody else's lives, not their own life. And once you manage to conquer that, you will be able to have a much better life. So it may seem also almost paradoxical that you need to die or to experience death in order to have a better life. Well, in reality, it would be beneficial, because then you would really understand the illusory nature of this reality, that we are basically just this vehicle that is experience this band of frequency. And once this experience of, for example, Dragos is over, then I'm gonna go to another place or dimension, and I'm not losing anything, because there is another amazing quote. Is that in death, you lose everything that you are not. So I'm going to repeat that. In death, you lose everything that you are not. So we are not our body, we are not our mind, we are not our emotion, we are not our identity, we are not our name. This is just constructs for us to be able to play in this reality. And when we die, all of these concepts, we just get rid of them. It's exactly like getting out of a car and getting into another car or in another vehicle. It's as simple as that. However, in order to truly understand this, you need to experience it. You need to experience it firsthand. And the most safest way that you can experience is through meditation. And also, what I want to tell is that I'm not promoting anything. I'm not encouraging anybody to taste death. I'm just explaining it from a meditation point of view and from a more or less philosophical point of view. So yes, you can also read about the stories of people who had near-death experiences, and more or less all of them have the same story, that they go to the same place, and they describe it in the same manner. So yes, basically, if you really want to live life, you need to deal with your biggest fear, which is the fear of death. And the best way to deal with it is not mentally or logically. This would be the first step, just to talk about it and be aware of it. But you need also the experience, because when you have the experience of it and you truly live it, then suddenly this experience translates into a visceral knowledge. Because we all know that those type of people who just know stuff, or you just learn without really changing deep inside. So that's why we need this experience, to go through this experience in meditation, where we lose all of our senses and we lose everything that we think we are. Because once you have that experience and you are able to recreate it, then suddenly you will realize that, okay, I am not this. So if you're not this, you will have more freedom. You will have more freedom and less fear. So this translates into a exhilarating life, basically. Of course, this is in gradual steps, because maybe that from one experience or two experience, you won't be able to get complete. You won't be able to get rid of that fear completely. However, the more you have this experience, the more you'll realize that this fear was an illusion, like from the beginning. So yes, let me know what you think about it and leave me some comments. Cheers.